Welcome, everybody, to the WMMA Today podcast with Drake and Steve. Steve is not here just yet, running a little bit late, but he is feeling better than he was last week, so he will be here momentarily. But we're going to get started just a wee bit before then, as, time is money, as they say. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining, for tuning in. Once again, a whole lot of fights coming up, a whole lot of different events, a lot more packed than it was last week, of course, but you know how it goes. The MMA world always changing. So today we will be talking about the fights from last week. KSW 61 had a fight. Two of them went down at UFC Vegas 28. And then one bit of news, I suppose, and we'll wait for Steve on that one. And Twitter mailbag, of course, which that Yusuf is excited for that. PFL coming up, Invicta coming up, Bellator coming up, and UFC. So, whole lot on tap, everybody. Cannot wait for the crazy week ahead. All right, let's jump right into it then, shall we? KSW 61 recap. One fight, Karolina Avčáš back in the win column. She defeats Monika Kušnić via unanimous decision. So yeah, back in the win column is Karolina. Much needed, I suppose. Not really much needed because, again, she is a prospect still early on in her career. Only 4 fights to this point, but gets back in the win column. And unfortunately, I will admit that I did not see the first 2 rounds of this fight because I was busy doing 2 interviews that are going to be dropping this week. So very good ones. I will save the shameless plugs for later, but look forward to those, you guys. Welcome, Ghost Phantom. Good to see you, sir. Apologies for the delay today as we wait for the usual crew, the Kana Army, to show up. But yeah, so the story of this fight seemed like exactly as expected. The third round, anyway, was how I definitely expected it to go. Striker versus grappler matchup, despite Karolina's boxing background that she has herself. She's been much more of a grappler, a stronger grappler in her MMA career to this point, and seemed to be the story. These still shots right here show that she landed some good shots, but from the sounds of things, again, still need to watch those first 2 rounds. Haven't had time just yet. That Kušnić was doing just fine on the feet, but could not prevent the takedown because that's just how it goes when you throw in a kickboxer who only has 1 fight. Not surprised that this was the outcome, but yeah, that's just how it is. And there we go, seeing people flooding in now. James, good to see you. Chuck is here. James is here. And Shizuka Sugiyama Army. The stoppage was early. Oh, he's throwing out some controversial takes here. I do love Shizuka as well, but this is the Kana Army we got in the chat as always. Yes, and congratulations to Shizuka for opening her own gym, I believe, recently. So yes, definitely happy to support both of them. Would love to see a trilogy fight there if possible, but that would mean we would need Shizuka in Bellator, which, why not? I don't understand why she hasn't been signed by a bigger promotion yet, but is what it is. Welcome, Makoto. Good to see you as well. But yeah, as for Karolina Avčáš, much needed. Again, I don't think it was much needed, but that phrase keeps jumping to mind. Wins at catchweight. Again, in KSW, they don't really have solid divisions at either flyweight or strawweight right now. So Karolina can kind of do whatever she wants, clearly, as evidenced by this fight and her intentions. She does want to drop to strawweight. And I mean, she looked in some damn good shape for 118 here. See how she can kind of slowly get into that perfect fit for 115, I suppose, which I think is a better idea. A lot of people should kind of, if they can, take that approach more, is slowly, gradually make the cut rather than just jumping down the entire 10 pounds, which she did here by doing a 118-pound catch weight rather than going the full extent there. So is what it is. Welcome rain, Kana Army raid always. But yeah, Opshash gets the win in pretty clear fashion. I think they were all 30-27s. At least one of them was. Won that third round. Clearly, I did see that round, but still got to watch the rest. Either way, keep an eye on Carolina Opshash, you guys. She is back and looking to do things at strawweight. Apparently, we'll see how it goes for her. But fun prospect, and happy for her to get there. We'll see what's next. Who knows when that'll be? But crowd back at KSW, pretty wild event. Was probably a lot more fun than the UFC event overall. I didn't think that the UFC Vegas 28 was that great. And I'm pretty easy to please, but man, I just was not very interested as things were happening. Outside of course, Ponzinibbio and his Baeza, but the fights that we're about to get to. Yes, good to see you, Alvin. Well, it's great to see you back, man. I appreciate you coming back. Don't say I'm here all the time. I'm here every week, unless something comes up, which has only happened once. But we're generally pretty flexible around here, so I'm always here, man. Good to see you. I really appreciate you coming back. So, anyways, the lackluster UFC Vegas 28, as I mentioned, didn't think it was that great overall. Thankfully, the heavyweight fights did not go longer than a round in the co-main and main event, but neither did our two women's fights, which, boy, oh boy, not really surprising in terms of the outcomes. A little bit, unfortunately, for one of them, but here we are. We'll start things off with the first of two flyweight bouts. MDLR, Montana De La Rosa. She did it. She went in there, did what she was supposed to do against Ariane Lipski. Second round TKO, elbows and punches, vicious grounded pound. Excuse me. Near the end of the second round. So this is what was supposed to happen, unfortunately, right? I say unfortunately because I think we all wish Lipski would have carried over that Violence Queen moniker in terms of her dealing it out from KSW rather than getting it dealt out on her, because that's just kind of been the case, I think, in her UFC career to this point, which is a bummer because she was a legitimate top 10 flyweight heading into the UFC. But that has very much changed since then. Montana, we know what she's capable of. We knew that she could do this. It was just a matter of if she would think to do it and implement that strategy, which that was the question mark after seeing kind of that Araujo fight that she had, where her fight IQ was just awful. Didn't really even bother to try and take the fight to the ground, which would have, she very well could have won it in that case, but just didn't do that. In this one, played a little bit on the feet, not nearly as much as he did against Viviani, but, felt it out a little bit and then got the fight to the ground fairly easily because, sadly, once again, Lipski's ground game and takedown defense is just non-existent, which I just don't really get when we found this out, pretty quickly once she got in the UFC, but now we're 6 fights in for her, which is kind of crazy to say. And still, it's just a problem. And yes, Montana is a good wrestler, so that makes it even more difficult. But just there's nothing there. There's nothing there, which is another one of those things. Takes me back to when Antonina beat Lipski in fairly similar fashion. Everyone was praising Antonina's ground game for being super impressive and coming along, but this doesn't tell us anything, right? I've got nothing against Montana, and I've been high on her, support her skill set, all that kind of thing. It's just been the fight IQ hindered her in some specific matchups, as I mentioned, the Araujo one. But here, this fight always should have played out this way, and we shouldn't even have questioned if it would, if we didn't have those hiccups in her mental game fairly recently. But it's not her, I guess it is her most impressive win by default because of the beatdown she put on Lipski, but Lipski's ground game just isn't a thing. Yes, she pulled off the knee bar from top position. Very impressive. But in defensively, her grappling is just, it's not a thing, so it's not as impressive as if Montana would have done this to somebody with a ground game at all. I hate to be harsh, but I gotta be. I'm just being, honest here. So is what it is. A good win for Montana overall, but it just annoys me when people overly kind of get overly excited or hyped up about a win like this, because when you really look at it, it wasn't the most impressive thing considering what we know about the opponent and all that. So I really hate to say that about Lipski. I think she's a bigger bummer for me now than Hector Lombard was coming to the UFC. And I was very excited for Lombard and thought he could have, he very well could have been UFC champion, but that quickly dissipated as well. And here we are, another similar case with Lipski. So excuse me, throat's bothering me already. So yeah, let's look at the comments here. Going back to Carolina, Chuck says there are 3 girls named Carolina training at Shark Top Team in Lodz, Poland. That is true. Even though I do believe Avchaz left Shark Top Team for at least this fight camp, I believe. Not 100% sure on that, but yes, Carolina is a popular Polish name, isn't it? So very true there. And yep, Alvin, very cool. Always good stuff from you. Appreciate it, man. Really, really do. I try my best here. So got to get the show in today before we're heading off to Glendale tomorrow for UFC Vegas. No, UFC 263, excuse me. Hot Arizona. I will be down there on the scene for SCMP, you guys. So again, I'll get this out of the way now since I'm talking about it. Anybody has any questions for any fighters or Dana or anything like that, always feel free to hit me up. I will do my best to ask them at media day, at the press conference, post-fight, all that stuff. Always happy to be a man of the people. So if you have any questions for fighters and whatnot, yeah, happy to do my best to get those out. Man of the people, as I said, gonna be hot. I'm not excited for the heat down there because it's here in Washington right now. It's a wet 60, 70-ish, which is just fine. But I'm going to be going to the nice 100s, nice and hot, no humidity. See how I survive in that. But anyway, good to see you, Jimmy, as well, waving his kind of flag, kind of banner. Love to see it. Rue here. Man, the Kana Army is strong today. By the way, how annoyed was JHK a few weeks ago when the Kana Army invaded his chat? The last time or the time before? I don't know. I think he's gotten pretty good at ignoring it because you guys always get in there, which is great to see. But yeah, he definitely notices, but I think he's just ignoring. I don't know if he's annoyed, but yeah. Gotta love it. Keep it up, you guys. It's the best. Ghost chiming in about this fight. De La Rosa actually did well on the feet against Kiosks Lipski. That's a great autocorrect. Yeah, I mean, Lipski didn't get as aggressive as maybe she should have. Landed some good shots. I thought she, landed more impactful shots. Again, the fight wasn't on the feet very much, but yeah, Montana looked fine everywhere in this fight. So that was impressive indeed how she handled the striking while it was there briefly, and then getting it to the ground was, of course, what she should have been doing the whole time. So James says, I was right last week. Can't trust Lipski's takedown defense. I know, man. It's a bummer. It's just can't trust something that isn't there. That's the best way I can put it, is just it doesn't exist for her, which I don't know. She went to ATT, hasn't helped at all. Needs to go somewhere else. Maybe go train with Usman and them. Whitman, Gaethje, what Team Elevation might be a good spot for her. Has to do something. And again, she is still young. I pointed this out on Twitter. Still just 27, which is crazy to think about considering how the kind of career that she's had so far already, being a KSW champion and the praise we've had for her. But like, you got to fix that. You got to fix that. So yeah, Jimmy here. De La Rosa actually had a beautiful cross hook entry into her body lock, but against Lipski. Yeah, exactly. It was very nice. That was probably the highlight for me, the way that she put that together. But yep, it's just not the same as if it would have been against somebody with better grappling. So not too impressive, but a decent win. Yeah. Like, people are freaking out about this a little bit. Media people specifically is kind of who I'm talking about, you guys. When I mention this, I see some of my fellow media members, which it's fine. They can. And I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than them or anything, but just when you really look at it deeper, I think that they shouldn't be as impressed as they're, pointing as they're saying they are. Like, just got to look at the bigger picture, right? But it was impressive as a win, no doubt. Just not the most impressive, I think. So that is that. But again, as much as I have been on this Manon Fior hype train, you guys, because I am well aboard that thing. Same circumstances, right? In her fight with Tabitha Ricci here, who came in on short notice. For Marina Moroz, who couldn't make it to fight night, that was a big bummer for me. That was the fight I was definitely looking forward to the most. But yeah, similar case here in terms of what we were just talking about with Montana and Lipsky. Fior defeats Ricci via second round TKO with punches at the 3-minute mark, exactly according to the timekeeper. So yeah, here we are. Manon Fior keeps on keeping on. I absolutely love watching her. She is so fun to watch. She is a contender in the making. Knew this already, right? So this is no surprise whatsoever. This fight went how it should have, especially on short notice. And we didn't talk about this fight specifically last week because, again, Moroz was supposed to be in there, but Moroz has trouble getting to fights, it seems, which sucks because of how she has turned things around at flyweight. But again, this was impressive from Fior, right? But again, against the short notice Ricci, who is a strawweight naturally, as you could tell by the size difference, and a Ricci who hasn't really fought any quality competition, if we're going to be completely honest. What I saw that the record, so I think somebody tweeted it out, the record of her combined opponents prior to Fior was like 4-16-1, maybe 19. Like, not very good. That's obviously not very good. But Ricci, I think, is still a good prospect just at strawweight, and a matchup like this was just nightmare for her. And I do think she landed some good punches at times, but there was just no way she was going to be Fior, who had the full camp, was already that kind of thing. And just her skill set alone. It was going to be tough for Ricci to pull this one off. And Bisping was freaking out at, the moment where Fior looked to take her down. But it's like, man, she's in control anyway. Don't worry. If you've seen Fior, she is fine on the ground as well. Obviously, I don't think it's her strongest area, but she is well capable on the ground as well. Hung in there with Leah McCourt in her first fight, who Leah's a featherweight. And that was a split decision, very close fight, actually. Leah didn't really have much for her on the feet, and we know that's just kind of how Leah McCourt is as well. If we're going to go the converse of Lipsky, not to the same degree, no doubt about that, but we know what the strengths are here. Everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, right? So, Manon Fior, though, I think that big things are coming. I've looked forward to the day that she faces Valentina, even though no matter how good she gets, she probably won't win, because that's just how insane that Valentina is. But I still look forward to it. When you have this kind of skill set that she has, when she's looking this good at this time, it's just exciting to watch these fighters progress and move up the ladder. So whoever is next for Fior, I can't wait to see it. I still want to see that Moroz fight, but who knows what's going to happen with her now. I didn't see exactly the reason Moroz did not make it to the fight, you guys. If you saw, please do drop it in the chat. It was it happened like the day after. So it was Tuesday, the day after last week's episode. So big bummer. That was a big bummer. But yeah, Fior looked awesome. Those side kicks, the way that she puts her combos together, everything is just great. It is wonderful. So Ghost talking about the last fight, they were calling for her to get a title shot in Montana, right? No, I don't think so. Not yet. And that's the part of the silliness, like I said. So Rain chiming in here. Fior had a nice high kick from the open stance in the first round. Very good timing. She's great, man. She is one of the best strikers in the division. I already feel comfortable saying that. If you've watched her entire career, she looks like this against everybody. And so that's why it's so exciting to see her continue to climb. So look forward to it. Makoto, striking was on point, but that was the perfect opponent to style on. right? Again. So that's the thing about it. Similar to Montana beating Lipsky, how she did. We shouldn't be surprised by this because Ricci, not the same striker and size, all these elements that Fiore is, where this always should have been how it played out. So a very good win, no doubt, a great finish, all that kind of thing. But again, clearly not the most impressive win that it could have been if it was against a better opponent. So, and that's not her fault, right? We got to say that too. Like, this isn't a Montana or Fiore criticism, but I guess the reception and matchmaking criticism, like a little bit of, I don't want to say ignorance from people being super duper impressed by these wins, but just kind of overdoing it. I don't think that's a good thing to be, to overdo things, right? I guess that's just the best way to put it. So got to be realistic as you can. But again, in their opinions, I guess that's what it is. So Makoto asks, did I get his email? Yes, I did get your email. I actually, what was that for? The Whaley, not press conference thing that she did, but she did like a speech thing in front of, I don't remember which company, Makoto, but I did see that speech that she gave a couple days before you sent me that. So that was cool, though. I do appreciate you sending me that. But yes, I did watch that prior. So I saw the email and I saw the video. Just kind of basic stuff from Whaley. I liked what she said, but nothing groundbreaking or crazy. She is just a role model. So good stuff. Under Armour, that's what it was. Yes, thank you. I knew it was like a shoe thing or some kind of clothing brand, but yep. So that was that. Rue says Savat style. Yep, no doubt about it. Fiore is fantastic to watch. Yusuf suggesting Fiore versus Antonina. I like it. I like it a lot. Why the hell not? That would be excellent from a striking perspective and ranking wise. If you were going to throw Maverick into a top 15 opponent in her second fight against Jillian Robertson in the UFC, why not do the same with Fiore, who is at that same level, if not a little bit better. I'm high on both of them, Fiore and Maverick. I think they're both going to be mainstays in the top 10 probably, but they're right around that same area. So I say, why not? That sounds good to me, Yusuf. But look who it is. Your boy is back. What's going on, buddy?
What is up?
What? How you feeling?
I feel all right. I'm congested. Could barely talk.
But you missed the people, right? You didn't miss me. You missed the
did.
people.
I missed everybody but you.
Yep.
It's a Nate Diaz fight week.
Ugh.
So we got to get hyped for that, right? Or at least I do. Yeah. So where are we at? Where are we at in this?
All right. We are just wrapping up with Fiore versus Ricci. So, I mean,
you're still on recaps. Okay.
Yep. I tried to be a little slow for you since the Twitter mailbag. Yusuf wanted to carry it over from last week, so he was demanding that I ask you his questions from last week. So I was stalling a bit, but it's worked out. We're good at timing. But thoughts on Fiore's win, man?
She looked amazing, dude. Like that power, just that power. It's awesome.
But the technique that accompanies it, though.
Yeah. She's a very, very, very good striker. Like she's only had 2 UFC fights now. Is it?
Yeah, this was the second one.
Right? Yeah. Man, you can put her up there in that division as one of the best strikers.
I told you.
Yeah, it's, man, I dig it. Like I'm really loving what I'm seeing from this girl. I know I know you've been on this for a while now, and I get it. But yeah, she looks good.
Yusuf suggesting Antonina next. What do you think?
Antonina would be good. I like Antonina. I also saw Jimmy. Welcome, Jimmy. Hello, Jimmy. I don't know if you've welcomed people. I don't know
Yes,
who,
I have. I
who
have.
you've welcomed, but I'm welcoming you again, Jimmy.
Yes,
This is my welcome to you, Jimmy.
there we go.
Versus Roxy. I don't like that fight for Modafferi at fucking all. Not from what we've seen.
That
Yeah.
my problem with that one is like I agree. I agree with what you're saying also, but we've seen all these rushes, right? I don't want them to rush people. You know, even though they could get away with it, like I mentioned Maverick right before you jumped on here, comparing her to like the same spot at same potential, if not greater for Fior. Like they're in that same boat right now where I'm fine with them getting top 15s next. And obviously Maverick got a top 15 for her second fight in the UFC. So why not give Fior one next? But Roxy, that's a big jump in somebody who, yeah.
But whereas, who said it? Yusuf. Okay. Welcome, Yusuf. My welcome to you, Yusuf. Antonina is a better fight just because she's not ranked yet. Fiora is not ranked yet. And Roxy, like what Drake was saying, Roxy's just too high at this point. But Shevchenko, is she even ranked anymore? I haven't looked at the rankings in a couple of weeks.
If she is,
she shouldn't be
low.
Yeah, she shouldn't be ranked. But if she is, then I mean that's a great matchup.
Yeah, in terms of actual matchmaking, position wise and styles, I think.
Right, and literally everything. Like that's a good matchup. That's a good matchup in the whole package.
Yep. So I like that one, Yusuf, and of course he had to mention a Shevchenko, but it works. He's not being crazy.
No, but that really does work. And yes, what would a Yusuf comment be without a Shevchenko in it?
Exactly. So, all right, you guys, those were the recaps. We will move along. And speaking of Yusuf, he's in the mailbag. It's all for him, as I mentioned.
Okay, we're doing mailbags now. I'm all fucked up. Like I don't even know where we're at. Okay. I didn't do a welcoming. I didn't do recap. I did one.
I took care of it. I took care of it.
All right, so we're in the Twitter mailbag now. I don't know what the questions were. Jesus, I'm fucking scrambled.
You're late, man. You got to catch up. But before we get in there, Makoto respectfully disagreeing with me. Nothing groundbreaking with me saying nothing groundbreaking on the Weili Under Armour speech. Lots of outlets have been saying that she's not handling the loss well, but her speech says otherwise. Fair. And in terms of, maybe I chose that word wrongly there, Makoto, groundbreaking. I mean, like, she didn't say anything very obscure or like anything that would suggest she's not handling it well, right? Like, because to me, you know, me and Steve feel like she's doing just fine right now. She's handling things fine. People are blowing things out of proportion, saying she's making all these excuses. Like everything that we're hearing from her sounds in line with her character to me, you know, and to most of you guys as well. So when I say groundbreaking, I meant that in the negative light that you're saying, you know, people are portraying that as. So that's what I meant by that, to clarify. So in that regard, maybe we're on the same page, but either way, that's what I meant. So
the outlets that are saying that she's not handling the loss well, I think they're just being assholes about it. They're not really taking in account of who she is, who she has been. There's like no drama with Weili, like at all. There's no drama whatsoever with Weili. So I feel like they're kind of fishing. They're fishing for a little something, and it's not working out for them because there's no drama with her. Again, there's no drama with Weili. She's not that fighter. She's not that person. And yes, I've seen outlets say, you know, she's out of line or whatever. No.
Yeah, fabrication.
It's clickbaity ass headlines. Like they're literally looking for you and I and everybody else here to click on their link to take them to the page so that they can get another click. They don't care. They really don't care. They don't care what is going on.
Oh, and if you couldn't
if they really did care, they wouldn't be saying this stupid shit about Whaley.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. So, all right, Makoto, we're on the same page. See, sorry, that was bad word choice by me, but appreciate you, sir, for mentioning that. And yep, all good fun with media stuff, right? So, all right. As for the mailbag, though, Steve, gonna do Yusuf's first. I answered these last week, but he demanded, as I said, that we got Steve's answers this week. I told him I would. I told him I'd give them to you. So we'll
Cool.
start off with this one. There's some good ones, as always, from our man. So here we go.
Okay. So are we starting with last week's?
Yes, these are last week's only ghost for this week.
Okay. How do you guys define a good striker? So you answered these then?
Yes,
already.
So this is pretty much for you.
Okay. How do you guys define a good striker? Well, it's a well put together fighter on their feet. They have boxing skill. They have clinch. They do clinch work very well. They can throw elbows. They can throw knees. Knees are part of it. A lot of people forget about knees. A lot of people forget about the calf kicks and all that stuff when it comes to striking. It doesn't have to be just fists. It could be literally any limb that touches the other body. That's a strike. And Boss Rutan's idea, the head is a good strike. The palm is a good strike. Exactly. And he was one of the best strikers in MMA in the history of MMA. So that's what I think a good striker is. You have to be well-rounded. You have to be well-rounded. You can't just be a good boxer in MMA to be a good striker. Like Calvin Kattar, he's a good boxer, right? But he doesn't do much else. So when I talk about him, he's a good boxer in MMA. He has some of the best boxing in MMA, but he's not one of the best strikers in MMA.
Yep, that's fair. You need that whole package, right?
Yeah, I for sure think that. And Ghost Phantom also says distance control, and I do agree with that. That is part of the striking as well. Keeping the distance as a boxer, I learned that very early on. Keep the distance so I don't get my little nose here broken, and then so that I can move in a little bit faster or move out if I have to. That's also that as well. Good call, Ghost Phantom. All right, rank from 5 to 1, best strikers at strawweight. So strawweight. Where are we at with strawweight?
Tough one. You want me to give you mine?
You can, sure.
So at first I was like, damn, that's hard, because strawweight, obviously. But then I thought about it. I was like, all right, I guess it's kind of easy when you look at the top three. And then I was flip-flopping on 4 and 5. But I came to the conclusion of these 5, which essentially are, kind of the top 5 a little bit right now. So Whaley, Rose, Joanna, Marina, and Xiaonan. And I came to the conclusion that, well, I guess by default we have to put Joanna behind Whaley and Rose because she lost to both of them, right? That's fair, I think. So then I had Whaley 1, Rose 2, despite the loss. I talked about that. And then Joanna and Marina and Xiaonan for me are flip-flop at 4 and 5, but I went with Marina because of the power for 4.
I don't necessarily think that you need to put Joanna behind anybody just because they lose. She can still be a better striker than somebody and lose.
True, but she lost in the striking, though. That's why I kind of...
That was I guess, but I mean, Joanna's really good. I mean, she was a Muay Thai champion. So there's very good striking in there for Joanna. I would put her above Whaley and behind Rose. I would go Rose 1, Joanna 2, Whaley 3, 4 is probably Marina, 5. who else is there other than Xiaonan? Because in her last fight, there was no striking at all. So I can really see knocking her off of the top.
Right. I know. I was like, I'm probably forgetting somebody. And I mean, of course, Angela Hill is there, and people like that. But I still feel like they're a good drop behind these five. Like these five are so elite. At strawweight.
Yeah, I don't know about Angela Hill.
And I mean, we did see her and Jan fight too, so
it's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem putting Xiaonan up there. It's just that in her last fight against Carla, there was absolutely nothing there. So, her striking really that good?
Well, I think that's more to Carla's credit, you bastard. Don't do this to me. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about it.
I agree with that. It's Carla. You're right. I love Carla. Whoa. Fuck Angela Hill. Whoa.
Every time she's mentioned, we get one of those.
It's hilarious. She's doing her job by getting people to say fuck her. I think that's good for her, for people to say fuck Angela Hill.
Yeah, I agree with James here too on this. It's that five, no matter how you spin it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's fine. All right, next question is about Wonder Boy. What makes Wonder Boy striking so good, and what he's awkward as fuck? And why do fighters struggle against him? Because he's so awkward, and he comes in with crazy angles and his stances, and he moves around. He has the best footwork aside from like Lyoto Machida, prime Lyoto Machida. He comes from that karate background where he picks his angles perfectly. Man, I really, like we've talked about this before, really need to see Wonder Boy get a title shot, man.
I know.
Before it's all done for him. I would hate to see him not fight for a title.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I think they struggle against him because he's so damn awkward. Like
there's only one of him.
There's only one of him. How great would it have been to see Machida and Wonder Boy fight?
That would have been interesting. Meet at middleweight.
Yeah. That would have been awesome, dude. That would have been sick.
Yep.
And then how do I get a better understanding of MMA in order for me to break down fights better? I think you just watch every move from every fighter. Like you need to slow it down rather than just watch, one fighter or whatever. Or don't pay attention to the stupid shit on the screen. And if you're really gonna watch and break down a fight, mute that motherfucker. Don't listen to commentary at all. It works. Commentary is biased as fuck. Mute that shit.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I said for that one, just like, obviously the more that you watch over time is very helpful, but
yeah,
when you when you go in with the intention of trying to focus on specific things,
yeah,
that's always good for that necessarily. So
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Is there more?
There is more, of course, from Yusuf.
Okay.
So I actually shouldn't have. Let me pull that back.
Are there true false questions?
I don't think so. He gave us some fantasy fights, though. I know.
The hell?
Let's see. I just did that one. Oh yeah, he gave us a random spoiler for McGregor facing Charles Oliveira. So he's jumping way ahead.
Wow. Okay.
So I guess he only had the one, unless I'm missing another one, Yusuf. But fantasy matchup picks. So this was fun, though.
Fantasy matchups, my picks for these fights, I guess. Suarez and Rose. I will always go Suarez, always against whomever they put against her. I'm a fanboy, man. Her wrestling is it's beautiful. So I mean, yes, I mean she has holes. Of course, she has holes. Everybody has holes, but Suarez is the one for me. Plus, she's a lot bigger than Rose. Like feel like she'll be able to take Rose down pretty easily. And then once she's on top, it's fucking over.
Right. Yeah.
Prime McGregor versus Holloway, 2 at 155. It's kind of like the Poirier and McGregor thing. I went prime McGregor, which we saw against Poirier, versus prime Poirier, which we're seeing now. Prime Poirier obviously did what he did to McGregor, right? Poirier was very good back then, very good, but he's taken a really big level up since then, since that first fight. I think Holloway would be the same, to be honest. Holloway is just a really great champion, whereas McGregor, he was good. He was good. He wasn't, to me, he wasn't that great of a fighter.
Right.
Whereas Max Holloway is a great fighter, very well-rounded. McGregor isn't. Obviously, we've seen what happens to him when he's on the ground against Diaz, against Habib, against Poirier. There's a track record with McGregor, whereas Holloway, he's just always in the fight, and he's fucking phenomenal. He doesn't get beat down very easily, whereas McGregor kind of has in the past.
Especially recently.
Right. All right. Jermaine Durandamy versus Shevchenko. I'm assuming this is Antonina Shevchenko. Or not Antonina, Valentina. Jermaine Durandamy is one of the best strikers in the world as far as females, but so is Valentina. Valentina is probably better on the ground than Jermaine Durandamy, so the striking might be a squash, but once it goes to the ground, Shevchenko's better. So I would go Shevchenko against Jermaine Durandamy. Pena versus Suarez. Suarez eats her up. Pena's nothing. Pena's not that great. Like she's sure she talked herself into a fucking title fight, and she's gonna get served. So I mean, Suarez would eat that girl up. At 135, dude, Suarez would be a beast.
Yeah, that was the only interesting thing for me was like, oh, the size difference there. But then I was like, all right, well, we know who's better though. Like we know who's a better fighter. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Suarez would fucking eat this girl up, dude. Poirier and Diaz, god damn it, at 170. So we almost fucking saw this, right? We almost saw this. This hurts because I really wanted to see that fight, and I'm obviously a big Diaz fan. I'm wearing the Diaz shit right now. Man. Do I go against my boy? Or do
go with your head, not your heart.
Yeah. I think that Poirier would put it on Diaz. Oh, that hurts. That hurts so bad for me to say, like, I'm sorry, Nate. I'm sorry. Damn it. Damn you, Yusuf.
Good job, Yusuf.
That hurts me to say that, to be honest. Like, I don't even want to go on. Xiaonan and Araujo. Well, I mean, Xiaonan's better, I think. And this is at 125 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Xiaonan for that one. Xiaonan's the more well-rounded fighter. But if Araujo, fucking
Fix the gas, then it's interesting.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Yusuf, you know what?
You're gonna get timed out.
He says, Yusuf says Diaz is a journeyman, and you motherfucker, I saw you. I saw what you said on my Diaz post, and I didn't respond to you purposely because I'm not going to get into it with you on Twitter. But here you are again saying the same bullshit. All right, Diaz isn't a journeyman, and neither is Masvidal. Like, I hate that. I hate how people say he's a journeyman and Masvidal is a journeyman as well. They're not. They've been in a fucking shit ton of fights. They're gonna lose. They're going to lose fights. They've been in a ton. Like, Diaz has been fighting since he was fucking 15 pro, basically. He was like 17 years old or some shit like that. He's not a journeyman. He's just fucking old now. He's like 37 or 36 or some shit, right? Like, I mean, he's up there in age. And the same with Masvidal. They're not journeymen. So, Yusuf, I'm tired of this shit. No more.
I'm on Team Yusuf.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
I don't agree with Jorge, though. I don't agree with that one, but
Whaley and Santos. I guess I would probably go Whaley. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't go Whaley in that fight.
Fair.
Yeah, I go Whaley. I think that's an easy call, to be honest.
All right. So those are the Yusuf questions from last. He just wanted to hear you get riled up about Diaz. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. He didn't care about anything else. He wanted to hear me get pissed off about Nate Diaz. Alvin says, "Good evening, Steve." Good evening, Alvin. How are you?
Yeah, Alvin is the man. Tuning in for 2 weeks in a row. At least he might commenting anyway.
He's looking forward to more episodes with the both of us. I'm assuming he just saw you last week. Which
Yes.
The only reason that I wasn't here last week was because I was sick.
There's 50 more episodes you can go back and watch, Alvin. Plenty of Drake and Steve.
Actually probably more. If you want to,
Yes.
if you want to go back, like there's more before we took a little bit of a hiatus. Drake hated me, and then he didn't.
Yep, you know how it goes. Need a little break sometimes. No, it's not true.
He needed a break.
All right. all the Steve shenanigans that come with Steve. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So for today's new mailbag, though, coming in from Ghost in the DMs. Here we are. Can I zoom more, or is that readable?
No, readable.
Okay.
Since it's Nate Diaz fight week, Stylebender fight week, one of Izzy's best traits that augments his striking is vision. How come journalists never ask him how he trains his visual prowess? And then there's a second question. Let's go with the first one. How come?
And it kind of ties in. It's a little bit of a two-part one question.
Yeah, that's true. Why do you think that journalists never ask Stylebender how he trains visually?
So, Ghost, the thing about what you're asking about here is I think that is an interesting thing to highlight. That's a good question, especially in a one-on-one situation, more so. But why, to kind of tie in the second part here is asking a fighter on the way they train a certain skill set off limits, and then he puts his examples. Not off limits, but the thing about it is
they don't want to give it up.
Yes, they don't want to give up the secret. And so we don't typically ask about that because we know that they're not going to tell us. Right. And sure, when you start out, people will do that. And you kind of will see maybe some, newer kind of media people or whoever ask those questions, and then they'll get the answer. And that's when you learn, that's a learning moment for whoever you are. So typically that's why they don't give you straight up answers like that, because these are secrets. Other people will
Honestly,
listen.
I do want to hear that. I would love to hear that from like John Jones. Style Bender is a great one. Like, but they're never gonna give up their secrets. They won't.
Yeah.
They won't.
But you know what? With a guy like Adesanya, he might just be so confident he'll say, "Fuck it." So you know what, Ghost? I'm going to ask him that. And I'm going to maybe embarrass myself or get an answer trying. So you know what? That's a good question.
I don't know if you would embarrass yourself, to be honest. I think that Izzy is one of the fighters that might have fun with it.
Exactly.
Depending on his mood. He seems like a moody little. But
yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Depending on mood, I mean, I guess you should. I guess if you're gonna ask him, Drake, feel his mood out first.
Right. Read the room a little.
Yeah. Well, read his bubble.
Right. And I mean, I'm not going to get to ask the first questions anyway. So
yeah, no, John Morgan is.
Right. I didn't even need to say that. But yeah. All right. Ghost is he agrees that I should be fine. We'll find out.
Yeah, so. Just ask the question. I mean, if you ask like the vision thing, not specific, like what do you do?
Why are your eyes so good, Izzy?
Yeah. Like do you have X-ray vision, Israel? Right. I mean, obviously. Actually, he might like that question too.
That would be funny.
He's a nerd. So
right.
He might be like, yes, I am Professor X.
What's your favorite color, Israel? Did you see that clip? That Tyron Woodley?
No.
Dude, somebody asked him this weekend in like a little scrum he did after hitting the bag or whatever, like, Tyron, what's your second favorite color? And he's like black. What's your first favorite color? He's like red. It was like, what's happening right now? So yeah,
it seems like some schmo shit.
Yeah, and it wasn't the schmo. So stealing everything he's working for, motherfucker.
You motherfuckers.
Full circle. That's how you tie it back in, everybody. But all right, that was the Twitter mailbag. Good stuff. You're welcome, Yusuf, because that was all for you, essentially. And then Ghost for throwing one in there, even though, we've been not the best at setting things up these last 2 weeks for good reason.
I've been out.
Yeah. So
last week was bad.
Yeah. But news time, and actually, Steve, this is the least amount of news I think we maybe have ever had since doing this show. There was only one fight, and I don't even know if this is a new fight, but it's one that I knew you'd have comments on more than I will. So we could have not even talked about it, but we're gonna, because it's Amanda Serrano.
Mm-hmm.
So
love it.
Here we
love Amanda Serrano stuff. So she will be taking on what's her first name? Garcia.
I'm not sure. Garcia, though.
Yeah. Icon number 7 on June 11th.
This week. So this is pretty much a mini preview, but
that's literally this week. Yeah, but there's not if we can't really preview it because we don't know who Garcia is really.
Right.
And Serrano is still very new to MMA. She's her boxing, she's one of the best female boxers ever.
41-1.
She's up there with Clarissa Shields as best boxer ever as far as a female, as far as I'm concerned. 7 weight champion. Amazing.
30 knockouts. Jesus.
Dude, she's a monster. Amanda Serrano is a monster, dude. But yeah, Serrano, she looked good in her, but it's been a long time. her two previous fights were in Combate Global now. Combate Global. Previously Combate Americas.
Right.
She hasn't fought since, it's been a while. How long has it been for her? 2019?
I don't know when the MMA fight was, but she had a boxing match
Well,
a
no,
couple months
boxing.
ago.
She had a boxing match a couple months ago. But as
Yeah,
far as MMA, we're an MMA show. We're not talking about boxing.
I know, Steve. Gotta tell me. Oh,
You didn't even want to talk about boxing.
I know. Let's see. I don't know. I'm on Wikipedia, so that's my problem. It doesn't show where our last MMA fight was. But yeah, I think 2019 sounds about right.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
Either way, she should win, right?
Yeah, I think that she should probably knock the girl out. But I agree with Chuck. Welcome, Chuck. I don't know if you were here earlier, but welcome. I welcome you. Icon gives so little details on the upcoming fights, it makes it hard to talk about them. That is absolutely correct. And that's the thing with Combate Global as well. They do weekly shows, but they don't let us know what the fights are until like Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, the week of. So like Drake and I, we literally haven't done a preview for a Combate Global fight card at all, and they've had a ton of female fights. They literally had a female card, and we couldn't recap, or we couldn't preview it because we didn't know who was fighting. So that's something that needs to be fixed, I think.
Yeah, that would be nice. And Rain here mentioning Ramona, which, yes, that's a great point. I think Ramona is on the same card. I think it's the very same one.
Icon 7?
Yeah. I know that she's fighting for Icon. Yeah, she should be heading down there either right now or tomorrow. But yeah, Ramona's got a fight, which is definitely counts as news, Rain. Thank you for bringing that up. Good to see her finally getting back in there for the first time since she hasn't fought since 2019 either. But obviously Ramona, not a boxer in the back, boxing background like Serrano, but yeah, Ramona looking to build off, get some momentum going again. And she's living in America now, working with Syndicate, managed by Paradigm. It's just a matter of time until she gets signed by the UFC if she keeps looking good, because she's got all the things around her. But see how she does after the layoff here. And I'm pretty sure that's this week on that same card. So yeah, those are definitely two notable ones to highlight.
I just noticed that Icon 7 is in Sinaloa. That is not good.
Why? What's wrong with Sinaloa?
It's the Sinaloa cartel is from Sinaloa. That's not a great part of Mexico.
Okay. I'm unaware, but that is not good.
It's awkward and weird that they would go to Sinaloa when there's plenty of beautiful places in Mexico to go. I'm not going to say much more about Sinaloa because I don't want to die. But but I mean, that just caught me off guard, I think.
Totally fair.
Like, are we going to see dudes with guns at the doorways? And like, I don't know.
That's why you tune in to find out. Icon 7, June 11th, everybody. Live from Sinaloa.
Oh, I'm watching for sure with Amanda Serrano and Sinaloa. Yeah. Something's going to happen.
Oh, man. And Ghost pointed out Ramona posting all her training vids. Yeah, she is great on social media. Definitely lets you into the journey. Recommend following her. What is it? At Ramona Carla on Instagram. Don't think she has a Twitter, but that's fine. All of her Instagram stuff is, great content from her. Lets you always good time, it seems like, with her and JoJo, Ji Young Kim. We're all having a blast. So, Indeed, follow Ramona. But all right, Steve, let's get to the previews right at the hour mark. We got pretty good amount to preview. Kind of. One's a little weird, and I'm sure you can guess which one, but still got to talk about it. Yeah. So I guess it's actually not that many previews. It's just a lot spread over a lot of events, right? We got
Like
PFL,
four or five.
Invicta, Bellator, UFC, and then Icon we just mentioned there, but not going to preview that. But a lot of shit is happening this week. We're going to start off though with the one fight on PFL 4, which is the main event.
So dumb, so stupid that there's only one. There's only one women's fight on this whole entire card, and it's the main event, which is a fighter who is yet to even fight an MMA fight. Like they're throwing all their chips in with Clarissa Shields, which is fine. I get it. I totally understand why they're doing that with Shields. But you would want to see maybe her co-main, not main event, right? Like, I don't know.
It's
what if she loses? Like, dude,
that's the gamble. Yeah,
you're like banking on her winning, and I understand that, but what if she loses? This is fighting. She's yet to even fight an MMA fight.
That's the thing to me, is that them putting her right in the main event in her first fight says to me that, all right, they understand that this might be a disaster. Let's bring in the eyeballs before she gets exposed right out the gate, right? Because to get the prediction out of the way, Steve, I feel the same way as I did at the beginning. I'm going to take Elkin in this fight because she is the MMA fighter. I mean, she takes the fight down, Right. Yeah. And of course, she's not the best fighter in the world, but she is an MMA fighter. Clarissa Shields has been training since December in MMA.
Yeah, but she's also training with John Jones and Michelle Watterson and Holly Holm.
Fair, but again, still a short amount of time.
And she's one of the best boxers in the world, pound for pound. No gender, no gender at all. No gender bias here. She's one of the best boxers in the world.
Yes. So fight stays on the feet, she will win, unless she gets head kicked or something ridiculous, like unless kicks get involved and she doesn't know how to handle them. But from what we've seen, I think looking fine there. But fight goes to the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Likely over.
Have you guys watched her videos, her training videos? Like, she's kicking the fuck out of some bags and shit.
Right.
And like she learned how to kick pretty fast.
Yeah. But there's more to it than that.
Yeah, it's the ground. I like you. It's the ground that will end it for her. She won't be able to win on the ground. She needs to get that knockout, and she will go for that knockout too. She'll go for that kill shot.
Yep.
With those 4-ounce gloves.
Oh yeah. But she's not stupid at the same time, though.
No, she's actually a really smart fighter.
Yeah. Jimmy, I agree, and it's something that we've talked about over the body lock. How funny would it be if Shields took her down, fast guard, submits her rear naked, something like that with jiu-jitsu? That would blow my mind, and obviously, I think that would be the best thing for Clarissa to do that, but I doubt it's going to happen.
It would be amazing.
It'd be like, okay, everybody's fucked.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, could you imagine, like, you would hear crickets from, like, Kayla Harrison. You would hear absolute absolute fucking crickets from everybody, from all the women. There would be no kind of shit talking to Clarissa Shields if she pulled off some crazy shit where it didn't happen with her fist, dude.
And as crazy.
Go ahead.
As crazy as it would be, though, I do want to circle back to what I said at the beginning of the show before you jumped on, though. I was talking about how Montana's win over Lipsky and Fioro over Ricci, impressive as wins, but like in terms of who they fought, because we know Lipsky's ground game is non-existent. It wasn't super impressive because that's what she should have done, right? And, well, I guess I'm going to retract that because we don't expect Clarissa to do that at all. So I was going to say, yes, Elkin isn't the best fighter again, but she's got the advantage in grappling. So Never mind. I'm gonna go back on that. It would be very impressive no matter what.
Yeah, I think it would be impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Chuck here saying Shields' ego wasn't gonna settle for less than main event status.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, the PFL needs to kind of be like, well, if maybe this is PFL's idea. Get their girl up there at the main event. Get the girl up there at the main event and fuck it. All in on her, you know?
Yeah. And they also have the excuse of being like, well, it's not a part of the tournament. So like all these other ones are tournament fights, so we'll put this one at the top. I don't know. Either way, I do still feel the same. I think Elkin will win and spoil the party because this isn't boxing, but we'll see. We will see.
I can see that happening, but I'm not gonna pick Elkin. I'm gonna pick Clarissa Schultz. I mean, those 4-ounce gloves are gonna be a game changer for her.
Every fight starts on the feet. That is true. So
yep, and she's keep her distance.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that.
I'm going Clarissa Schultz. I think she gets a knockout.
If she can survive, that's it is going to be interesting to see. This kind of thing is always interesting to see.
I don't even know who else is on this card.
Pettis is back. So is Collard. It's the lightweights and the heavyweights.
Right. Isn't Collard? He's on the prelims and Pettis is on the main.
It's dumb. Yeah.
Main event. That's right. It's that card. Oh.
It's goofy. Yeah.
PFL always doing some goofy shit, man.
No respect. After that fantastic performance from Collard, too, like, he looked amazing, dude. Yes, he got caught in the third round, but he looked great aside from that. That's credit to Pettis. He looked awesome, I thought.
That sucks for Collard, and I mean, Pettis is who he is, I guess.
Yeah.
It's his name at this point.
Right.
Makoto, welcome, Makoto. Again, I don't know if you've been here or not. Then the first leg kick lands right on the thigh. Then Shields might be rethinking things. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how she handles everything. We said the same thing about Amanda Serrano, but again, Amanda Serrano wasn't thrown into the main event on a big card like PFL. So it's kind of weird, man, that she's main eventing. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I want to see her do well because I love her as a boxer. So I want to see her do well in MMA. I don't understand like the main event thing. I really don't understand it.
Right. And yeah, I think Yusuf with the ultimate point here. Props to her for even trying. Right. Like we hear about people talk about it all the time,
dude. Because there's a big money
gap
in between women's boxing and men's boxing, and then women's boxing and women's MMA.
Yeah, Heather Hardy's been open about that. So
she has been, yes.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I would love to see these women boxers get paid, man. Just fucking pay them what they're worth. Like, it doesn't matter what their genders are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they're bringing in eyes. They're putting on hell of great fights in women's boxing right now, happening lately. Like, great fights.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will move on then from the PFL to the first Invicta Phoenix tournament. They took out Rising, the Phoenix tournament of the year. The Atomweights, the first one for the Atomweights. Let me pull up the lineup. And Steve, did you see the fancy new thing that they're doing for this one?
They didn't. What are they doing?
So we don't know the matchups yet. We don't know the matchups yet.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's because
I saw that.
the fans, we get to decide, guys. We are the matchmakers. And I made my votes already. You can go do so on invictafc.com. I believe that's the name of their website, but Invicta's website, wherever you can find it. You'll find it on their Twitter, whatever. Yeah, they're letting everybody decide who we get to see in the first opening round here. So that's pretty badass, for this tournament, which is already crazy unique, one night tournament. And they don't have a bracket. They do the the next rounds from whoever's fastest and that kind of thing, right? And you get to pick and all that fun stuff. But yeah, now we get to decide for this. So what do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, it's new. It's something different. We like different, and MMA needs to mix shit up anyway. So it's good. I think it's a good thing. What were your picks for fights for the first round?
I gotta remember. Let's see. I feel like I really don't remember very much. I think I did Jillian DeCourcey versus Linda Mihalik, Lindsay Van Zandt versus Tabitha Watkins. I did Katie versus Katie. I remember that. And then Jessica Del Boni versus
against Linda.
Granados.
Oh, Granados. Paulina Granados. Yeah.
But I'm fine with pretty much any of those, except for I didn't want to do Del Boni versus Van Zandt because I think those are my favorites pretty clearly.
I don't want to do Del Boni versus Van Zandt, and then DeCourcey, Del Boni, or DeCourcey Van Zandt.
Right. It's those three are the favorites.
And then Granados. I guess I would put Granados. If you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, you can put Del Boni, DeCourcey, and Van Zandt up there. Mix it around or whatever. But I guess I would put Granados as like the fourth. So
yeah,
Granados and Perez, maybe.
Yeah, either way. I just kind of wanted to make sure I avoided those certain ones, but
yeah, I feel you. I feel you with that. Jimmy says Del Boni versus Perez would be good. It's an opening round fight, so I wouldn't. Del Boni and Perez is good. I do think that if you're going to do the picks, you should go who you think is number 1 versus number 8.
Yeah.
That 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and then 4 and 5 fight each other. I think that's how I'll do it when I do it. When I do my picks.
Right. So I'm not sure how long that's going to be open for you guys. I didn't see the detail. It might have been in there in the article, but I'm not sure if they're going to go straight up to weigh-ins or what they're going to do to fight night. Who knows?
They got to get them some kind of maybe weigh-ins. Maybe at the weigh-ins they'll bring them out or something to go to do a face-to-face.
Yeah, we'll see. Not sure. It could have said in there, but I just missed it. Who knows? But yeah, as for this tournament, I love the Phoenix tournaments. They're always really fun. As I said, Del Boni and Van Zandt, I think, are the top 2 seeds for me. Del Boni should win this. She's arguably the uncrowned champion, you could say. And as much as I like Lindsay Van Zandt, and think she should be number 2, I feel like this tournament doesn't favor her style, though, because of the one-rounders. I think she could have trouble depending on who she gets in those fights.
Yeah, I agree.
But if she gets past those, I mean, she'll have to tweak her style a bit, I think, maybe. But I do want to see, ultimately, her and Del Boni in that finals.
You really got to go. Like, these 1 rounds, you really got to go. Put it all out there in the 1 round that you get.
Yeah.
You can't take your time. You can't.
Yeah, and I think she will because she seems really motivated to get back in there. It's been a while, and she
Yes.
wants to fight Zapatella again, get that rematch, which I would love to see that rematch too. So,
Well, you had Van Zandt winning that fight.
yeah. So it's gonna be an interesting one, and there's sleepers for sure. Like I think Granados is a solid sleeper. We'll see what happens, man. But I think that Del Boni should be able to win fairly handedly, but there's always surprises that can happen in these things. So, yeah. And like Chuck says, exactly, right? These tournaments heavily favor wrestlers. This group is mostly strikers, though. So, yeah, that's why it's kind of fun that way. But
Yeah.
see who can kind of change and adapt their styles. They're going to turn some strikers into wrestlers, Chuck. Somebody's going to just go completely against what we're used to seeing them do. And James, do one rounders count towards the MMA record? No, they have. They did it first, I thought, but like for Brianna Van Buren, for example, they don't count them anymore. I feel like they did it first, but I think they should because they're fighting.
It's a fight. It's a tournament.
Yeah, because it leads to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they should. Count.
And like same thing with Ultimate Fighter, like. Maybe, well, I mean, Ultimate Fighter is a little bit more unique. They're both obviously very unique situations, but I don't know. They're actually, there's nothing exhibition about it. They can win, they can lose, all that kind of thing.
Well, Ultimate Fighter, that's a 3-round fight.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean,
No, not unless it's tied, right? It's 2 unless it's tied.
Oh, yeah. 2 unless tied. You're right. Yeah. Shit, I haven't watched Ultimate Fighter yet.
I know, me neither. I haven't watched the first.
Was it good, you guys?
If you watched, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if the new Ultimate Fighter was good. But just one, right?
Yeah,
one show.
They haven't. I don't think they released the whole thing at once.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
The first tournament, the single rounds counted, but I think a lot of fighters complained, so they made them exhibitions, right? So, well don't complain if you're gonna sign up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Fighters are gonna complain, especially if they lose.
Yeah, but hey, it's the name of the game. So, I'm taking the obvious pick, Steve. I think Del Boni's gonna win. You feel the same way? Or you go on a different route?
No, yeah. I mean, you got to go with Del Boni. Could we see a shocker? Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, got to go Del Boni. I really want to see Jillian do well, though.
Yeah. That'd be a good dark horse story, too.
Yeah. I really want to see her make it far into, hopefully, the finals. I don't know. But, I mean, Del Boni is, like you said, she was supposed to be fighting for the title.
Yeah. Well, I know it's crazy to me that, it sucks for her. That was kind of the thing for me is that, a fight that she argued, that many people think that she won against Zapatella. And, you said you can see it going either way as well, Steve. And then instead of getting an instant rematch to have to go through this is kind of, that sucks. That kind of sucks for her, even though she should still win. It's like, man, got to beat 3 people and get that again. So,
but I mean, from what we saw in her fight against Alicia Zapatella, she's a good fighter. So I mean, obviously, she should be the fighter to look out for.
Yep, 100%
to win this thing. But I mean, it's a tournament; anything can happen.
Yeah, especially in this one. So. Yusuf says the Ultimate Fighter was average. Makoto, I'm just gonna wait till they all show the episodes.
I was thinking about doing that too, but I think I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, I just gotta find the time. It's like,
when
I have my free time, I kind of trying to avoid fighting stuff these days. But
what day do they even drop on?
I think Tuesday. So the second episode should come out tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I think. Alvin says, unfortunately, I do not like watching the drama of Tough, but he likes watching the fights. A lot of people feel that way, especially as more and more seasons came out. So you're not alone there.
Well, okay. So the last few Tough, were crap. The
Yes.
fights were decent. It's just this actual like in-house crap. It was not good. It was not good at all. It wasn't fun. You know.
Yeah. Like Murray screens, alcohol problems. So, it wasn't very fun.
Dude, that was so weird. Like, yeah, that was weird. Ugh.
Yeah. So, all right. Moving along, though. Bellator is back as well. Bellator 260. 2 fights on this card. Somebody who's making a relatively quick turnaround, and you love to see it. We'll talk about them after this first fight. But kicking things off, Steve, featherweights, Amanda Bell, Marina Maknatina.
Yeah, Amanda Bell should win this fight. Oh, what is that picture of Muckin? That's hilarious.
Flexing, bro.
Sticking her tongue out too. Amanda Bell should win this fight, but I bet she loses.
That's pretty much Amanda Bell's career, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Amanda Bell, my one of the she's from my area.
The lady killer.
The lady killer, fighting out of Medford.
Kind of not really.
She was a I don't know if she still is, obviously, probably not since the pandemic happened, but before the pandemic, she was a bouncer at one of the nightclubs, or not nightclubs, but the bars that I used to go to a good bit, so I would see her there, which is always kind of sad. You know, it's sad that fighters have to do that as well, but yeah, Amanda Bell, pretty good bouncer to have. Shout out to that bar. I won't name the name. I was just about to, but in case she still works there, good fun in Portland. So yeah, Amanda Bell, Marina Magnatina, though. Marina, as we know, Steve, very, very quick starter. She starts fast, and if she gets you to the ground, and she can find submissions very quickly. If she doesn't, she's kind of screwed, as we've seen in her last 2 fights against Janae, and then before that against Jojua, who is a flyweight, so that's not good. But yeah, if she starts out quick and you can survive her early attacks, you're pretty much going to win. That's what we've seen anyways, especially in these last 2 fights. But yeah, submission threat early. And Amanda Bell, I don't know if Amanda's ever been submitted. She's been knocked out plenty. No, I guess Toledo got her there. But before that, I can't really remember. Alternating wins and losses right now. Point is, Amanda Bell has been around a bit longer, fought decent, pretty good competition, actually.
Yeah, she's fought good competition.
Lots of people.
But that's why her record is 7-7, and she's getting finished.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's just got, better quality of competition. We've seen a more well-rounded game from her, and she is pretty tough despite being finished in quick fashion sometimes. I remember who was it that put her out quick? Was it Arlene? Did Arlene finish her in like 50 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've seen that kind of thing, but look at who she's fighting. So
yeah. I agree with that. Then that's why I was like, Amanda Bell should win this fight. Right. But I mean, who knows? Like, what's going to happen here?
It's one of those situations. I always like to talk about it, you guys. You know me at this point. Magnatina in a bit of a back against the wall situation. Not in danger of getting cut, I don't think. But 2-fight losing streak, first time of her career. She's really going to want to rebound. You would expect typically the fighter to be a lot more focused and prepared in this situation.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man, I really like the way you've described Amanda Bell, who should totally win this, but probably won't because that's just what happens. So, yeah, I think we'll see vintage Marina probably, and she'll pull off a quick submission as she has in her 4 wins. So that's going to be my pick, first round for Magnatina.
Poor Amanda.
I know.
Yeah,
I won't be surprised either way because it just comes down to if Bell gets out of the first round, she's fine. She's got it then, unless Marina changes things up and has improved like she needs to.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Amanda Bell.
After what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see like her losing this fight. She shouldn't lose this fight.
Right.
She should not lose this fight. Would I be surprised if she got knocked out? No. Would I be surprised if she got finished? Absolutely not. But I mean, she needs to pull her shit together, right? At some point, this is the fight to do it.
Yeah. And oh my God, I didn't realize that the Janae fight was 2 years ago now. That's insane, dude. All right. So, I mean, layoff coming into effect here. Wow.
Wow.
We'll
Yeah, that was
see.
a long time ago.
Yeah, that's nuts. So,
Well, Bell just fought Leslie Smith
yeah.
8 months ago.
Yeah. More recent. Significantly more, which is funny because 8 months still isn't that recent, but for in comparison,
2 years. Also, there was a pandemic in between.
Yes, very true. So, all right, split on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see
Yeah.
Marino winning. So
Yeah, that one's a bit coin flippy for multiple reasons. All right, we got some questions here though before we move on. Rain, are there any downsides for fighters doing tough? Yes. Yes, especially now, Steve, where when you think about it, why would you do tough when the contender
there's
series
Contender
is a thing?
Series.
Yeah.
Yep.
And those, I'm sure the tough contracts have changed since, but man, oh man, they were shitty.
They did not get paid. $2,500, $1,200.
No, they got the base fee, the base salary in a 10-fight deal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So actually, at the time, I remember Tough 20. I think Randa saying this, that she got 10-10. She was on a 10-10 contract for 10 fights.
10 fights.
Yeah. So it's like, what the hell is that, dude?
That's terrible. That's what it is. That's taking advantage.
Yeah.
Hopefully, UFC banking on somebody doing really well and not having to pay them shit.
Yeah. Yeah, especially at that stage where those fighters might not have great management to renegotiate that kind of thing, and they get stuck. Like,
yeah,
it's just not very cool. So,
no, yeah, the UFC took advantage of a lot of the tough fighters, especially in the early days of tough.
Oh yeah. But Rain asking, would you guys watch if Zhang versus Yan were coaches for Tough Asia? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course we would.
Do you even have to ask? That'd be awesome.
It would be fun. Yeah, that would actually be a lot of fun. Kind of want it to happen. I mean, they got to do something with that PI, man. We keep saying this every time somebody brings up the UFC going over there. They have to do something with the PI over there, and Tough would fit it.
Yeah, Tough.
And then a Contender Series.
Yeah,
and then a Contender Series.
Indeed. So, all right, Makoto asking, why is it so hard for the UFC to make an all-female fight night card?
They'll never do it.
Oh, main card. Just
they won't do it. We're lucky we even see a main and a co-main. I mean, look at all the crap that people were talking when Watterson and Marina were put to the main event, and that was a fantastic fight. We knew that. We knew that was going to be a great fight. But it's the knuckleheads, the knuckle draggers, the stupid MMA fans who can't get past women fighting. Still. In 2021, and they've been fighting for a long time now.
Women have been in the UFC for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
And they've been fighting, obviously, for longer than that, for past 10 years. But, like, it's crazy.
Dude, like, you think about it, Dana White's the ultimate knucklehead, right?
Yeah.
He got past it. He brought Ronda Rousey in. He brought all these other women in. They made the divisions. Remember, he didn't want to do the women's fighting at all. He didn't want to. He got kind of forced to, and now I'm pretty sure that he loves it. So why can't all these other motherfuckers too? You know, like they're bald-headed god over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is what it is. But we get enough action. Obviously, as you can see this week, you guys spreading the love. That's okay. It gets more eyeballs overall, I think. So moving on.
Yeah. Okay, so Chuck says most of the time when someone wants an all-female card, it's the haters who want to see it fail. And then he goes on to say, I prefer the mixed cards. I too prefer the mixed cards. Would I enjoy the all-female main card? Of course I would. As long as they're good fights, of course. But again, the hell was that? Again, we have these dumbasses who watch MMA. They're not with the times. They're not in 2021. They're still back in the 1990s when it comes to females being in MMA.
Yeah, I don't know. Jimmy here.
And then Jimmy asks, why can't they get past the women's fighting? It's still fighting in the end, not the same level, but fighting is fighting. It's the same level too, though. Like they're very good. You go fight one of those women. you go fight Marina Rodriguez. Yeah, no, thank you. You know, I mean, no thanks. I'll watch you fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's they can't accept it, you know, that they're succeeding at such a physical sport, I guess. I don't know, man.
Dude, but it happens in basketball. The WNBA, they're in their 25th season this year. Barely, just barely getting the love that it should. 25 years the WNBA has been around. Dude,
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
25 years the WNBA has been around. Barely getting its due right now.
And then we've seen the ridiculousness with the backstage kind of setups. What was that? That was in college though, right?
Oh, that was college. The tournament, the NCAA tournament where their weight room, their crap ass weight room. Man, what a fucking joke that was.
Yeah. Insanity. But all right. Let's move along though now. I almost hit the end broadcast button. Let's move on. Vanessa Porto is back so soon, you guys. That's who I was hinting at earlier. Taking on Lara Joanne. I mean, I don't know why they didn't make Hannah Guy versus Vanessa Porto. I mean, that makes sense rankings-wise, but here we are. What do you think about it, Steve?
I think it's stupid.
This fight or the rankings?
This fight, the rankings, yeah, all of it. It's all dumb. It's making me lose respect for Bellator. The respect that I had, I really like Bellator, but here we are. This is what happens when you put your own rankings out. You do stupid shit. And this fight doesn't make any sense at fucking all. At all. Vanessa Porto is still one of the best in the world. In the flyweight division. Still, I don't care what her number is beside her name. Still one of the best in the world. While her opponent, not really. Does she go by Arya Stark?
Yeah.
Wow.
Salt intensifies.
Just for that, I hope she loses. Like in a brutal way.
Well, I mean,
Did she go by Arya Stark? I never realized that was her. That was her.
yeah, she dressed up at weigh-ins when she fought.
Oh God,
I don't
I
know if it
didn't
was
know her
Beck or Kana.
nickname was Arya Stark though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Jimmy's right. Should have done Porto versus Laredo. Makes sense rankings wise. Gosh,
yeah, right.
massacre,
They would never do that.
massacre. Yeah, man. So, I don't think Joanne's terrible or anything like that, but there's levels.
She's not
That's the
on the
thing.
level of Vanessa Porto though. Like Vanessa Porto just last year was the Invicta champion.
Yeah, yeah, and Joanne, I mean, coming off of that loss to Kana, which it happens, you face Kana, you're gonna lose. But I mean, I don't know. And then before that, her Bellator debut was a nice knee bar over Beck, but
Yeah, but that's Beck Rawlings.
that's Beck. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
one who's been in a ton of fights, but another one who loses a ton of fights.
Yeah. So in this matchup, it's like I just don't know what Joanne can do. She could pull off a submission. I don't think she's gonna knock out Vanessa. No chance. That just doesn't happen to Vanessa Porto. Yeah, Jimmy says Kana's a judo queen. What do you expect? I know. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
the experience difference between Porto and virtually everybody not named Liz Carmouche and like people around the top, right? It's just unmatched. And so in this case, like she's going to be too smart to get caught in anything. She's not going to put herself in any danger. Like Vanessa Porto, great fight IQ. Just got nullified in that last fight with Liz Carmouche. If this was Liz Carmouche versus Joanne, it'd still be very bad. Like levels, man. Nothing that I could say more than that. And yes, James says it too. Losing to Kana is nothing to be ashamed of. Yep, I know you guys. Keep it coming. Yeah, Vanessa Porto, though, should be able to comfortably, dominate this, whether it's a 30-27, 30-26, find a finish, which I could see her very well doing, specifically when you look at how Kana was able to get on top of Ilara, especially as the fight goes on. If Vanessa implements a strategy to kind of grind things out, or I mean, she doesn't even have to. If she can just tire out Joanne with the pressure she puts on wherever it goes, she could find a finish, and she's definitely going to be motivated to rebound off of that loss, which was, not the way you want to make your Bellator debut. And she's been sticking around in America since, so that she could get right back in there for this. So that just shows you the mentality she has. I think she'll be fired up, and it's going to be a rough night. It's going to be a rough night for Arya Stark, Steve. So
I can't get past it.
I'm gonna say Porto round 3 submission. I think Joanne will take a beating, but she won't be able to make it all the way. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, Porto should win round 2, round 1, round 2, somewhere around there. Put the dagger in Arya Stark.
All right, says I think we know who Kana beats the whole 125 division. Kana will be champ one day. Continuing the meme. It's not a meme, Makoto. This is real. But yeah, I am happy though to see Vanessa Porto fight so quickly again. I will tell you that much. Even though the fight's a silly one, matchmaking wise, I'm fine with her just coming back so fast. I will take it. So that is Bellator 260, you guys, going down at the same time as the Phoenix tournament on Friday. That's the one thing I hate about all this action, is that it happens at the same time. And I'm probably gonna have to watch these on Sunday or Monday when I get back from Arizona. And then there's Ryzen as well. No female fights, unfortunately. That's a big bummer. But Ryzen 28 is also this weekend, you guys.
Pretty nice.
There's just so much going on. Massive Tokyo Dome card where Tension's going to be fighting 3 different people. What is happening? What is happening? Madness, chaos ensues. But anyway, UFC 263 though is the big pay-per-view event in the MMA world, taking place on Saturday night. We got 2 fights, 2 pretty important fights, one more than the other, but we're still very interested in this first one that we're going to be talking about. Steve, bantamweight action.
Yeah, Penny Kianzad versus Alexis Davis. Bantamweight at 135.
Yep. Here we go. This is we talked about it, what, 2 weeks ago when it was made, or 3 weeks ago? I think we've known about it for at least right under a month. Right under a month.
3 weeks.
Yeah, Penny on a hot roll right now. We know that she is on fire, best she's ever looked. Alexis Davis.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, Alexis Davis in the twilight of her career. That's very clear, but she still got that good win over Sabina Mazo. But just a difference in experience, right? Like that's just kind of how that one went. And there, of course, there's going to be a difference in experience for most people Alexis Davis fights. But in the case of Penny, she's on a lot more of a hot streak against better competition than Sabina was. And as we discussed when talking about this, when it was made, for me, Penny's just looking so sharp.
So good.
Right now that against Davis, who is an underrated boxer and a very dangerous grappling, she is a nightmare on the ground.
She's a lot better on the ground.
Yeah. But I think that Penny has shirted up enough her takedown defense to where she'll be able to keep Davis off of her and piece her up on the feet. I mean, we see that Alexis Davis is very hittable. She's always been very hittable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at this current stage in their careers, when you look at the most recent wins, take them situationally. Like Davis did look good, like I said, came back after that long layoff. We're like, where is she? Back at 135, feeling comfortable, all that kind of thing. I just don't know if she's got enough to take out somebody like Penny, who is kind of streaking right now. She definitely could. That would be completely in line with these kind of fights, right? Where we're like, this didn't make sense. We should have given like Pennington to Penny like she wanted, but instead they give her an unranked returning Davis, which
I don't like that.
Very odd.
Said that when they announced this fight or whatever. Penny, I don't like this fight for Penny, just because Penny should be looking up in the rankings, not down in the rankings. I do not like this for Penny at all. I think that Penny ends up winning the fight, so it doesn't really matter. But I want to see Penny move up in the rankings rather than fighting a veteran in Alexis Davis who is getting pushed back in, to the against a ranked fighter.
Yeah, kind of higher risk, low reward for sure in Penny's case here. And then high risk, high reward, I think, for Davis.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%. It sucks for Penny. Like, honestly, if she loses to Alexis Davis, she could be unranked.
Yeah. Definitely get bumped back a bit. So,
in a division where there's not a whole lot of good fighters
that would be a terrible situation for the bantamweight division if Davis won. Like, in the grand scheme of things, like, I have nothing against Alexis Davis. I think she's great, honestly, as a person, a pioneer, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, for the landscape, it'd be like, oh man.
Well, you look at the records, you look at the years of age. 36 years of age with Alexis Davis to Penny only being 29 years old on a 3-fight win streak. Like, she's moving up the rankings. She shouldn't be fighting Alexis Davis, who is coming back off of, how long has she been out?
Well, she was out for a good while
prior to
the Sabina one, which is 3 months ago. It was almost 2 years-ish, over a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay, so she's been out for quite a while, given the pandemic or whatever. But I mean, she's been out. She shouldn't be fighting a ranked fighter like Penny Kianzad, and Penny shouldn't be fighting her.
Yeah, I mean, she could fight a ranked fighter, but Penny's, The
Who are
streak
they?
she on, how high
Who are
she
they
is.
gonna put? Who are they? Panda?
Yeah, I would have been fine with that. Yeah, Davis versus Avila. Yeah, that would have
Good
worked
luck.
for me.
Good luck with that, Davis. Like, I mean,
I agree, but yeah, I would have been fine with that. She's still got it. She's still coming off of the Sarge loss, right? So I'd be fine with that one for sure. They should have done that.
they
Yeah,
could have.
I need some Avila
That,
back in my life. Oh,
that makes more sense than Penny, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, it sure does. So
That
I'm going with the
it's
hot
that
hand
3-fight win streak. It's that 3-fight win streak that I just can't. I can't get over.
at bantamweight too.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah. So I think Penny will keep on keeping on. She's really hitting the stride. This will be, it'll be a tricky one because Alexis Davis is a tricky opponent no matter when you're facing her. But I think Penny will be all right. I believe in her. I like what we're seeing now. And I just realized on the ticker, I accidentally put 125 there.
That's why I said 135.
My
I'm glad you
apologies.
finally caught on.
I didn't even see it. But yeah, I'll take Alexis
I could have
Davis.
easily changed it, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I chose
right.
not to.
Just making fun of me. Alexis Davis is as tough as they come, though. I think she'll make it to decision, but she won't be on the winning side of the decision. So
I think Penny knocks her out, dude. Dude, she's fucking she's hitting really hard lately. Like she's a hard hitter. She obviously doesn't want to get taken down by Alex Davis because then, I mean, that's where Alex Davis does well. But I think Penny's doing well enough to knock Alexis Davis out.
Yeah, and I mean, she managed against Sajara, who great grappling as well, of course.
Sure.
So, yeah. All right, so knockout for Steve. I'm going to take the Yunnan, but yeah, I could see that. We'll see what happens. I'm another case where I'm like, I'm happy to see Penny back, but
For
the
sure.
matchup, like, yeah, no. So,
Doesn't make sense.
all right, we got some questions here before we move on to the last fight of the weekend.
Alvin. This is a philosophical question for both Steve and Drake. Why must color commentators ask the fighter who just won, what's next for you? Well, Joe, I'm going to go fishing, and then I'm going to go have sex with my wife. Like, that's what I would say. Like, for real. Like, I mean, wouldn't you say some shit like that? Like, what's next for you? Well, I mean, I'm going to go fuck my wife really quick. Yeah, that's what's next. I can think about the my next fight next week. I'll get with my management. We'll get with the UFC or whoever soon. For me right now, I just won, so I mean, I got business to take care of at home.
To go celebrate.
Celebration, bitches.
At first, I had no idea where you're going with that. And then I was like, "Oh, Brock Lesnar, right?" I was like, "Okay." I know where my mind was going, but why do they ask that though? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably a promotional request for the most part, Alvin. Like,
I think so.
all right, try and set up the fighter for, like Chael, for example, always talks about that's the most important thing. You always need a name. Don't say anybody, don't give that generic response, which is boring. Like, yeah, I get it. Give the people something to think about. I don't know. It's the easy question, right? It's the easy one. What do you do next?
Okay, so Julian Marquez, he didn't pick a fighter. He picked Miley Cyrus, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work out, but for that time being, for a week there, Julian Marquez was
in terms of eyeballs. Yeah, it worked.
Julian Marquez was being talked about massively. The masses were talking about Julian.
She responded
because he brought up Miley Cyrus. Yes. So if you say something like that, rather than the next fighter that you want to fight, it works out for you.
Yeah, and I think at this point too, kind of think about that a little deeper. It's like, just give a memorable response. Like,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
though Derek
Brock
Lewis,
Lesnar, dude, you just said Brock Lesnar. We still think about Brock Lesnar, right?
right? Well, he pretty much said
I'm gonna go
that.
fuck my wife. Right.
But he said, "Hell, I might even get on top of my wife
I
tonight."
might even get on top of my wife. Right.
I'm
Like,
gonna go drink a Budweiser because Bud Light
Budweiser,
won't pay me nothing.
yeah. Dude, you literally just said Brock Lesnar's
His
line by
answer.
line, word for word. You literally said it. We all know it, right?
Yeah.
That was a
No,
long
exactly.
time ago that happened.
Yeah, that was like 2010. Oh my god, that was UFC 100. Yeah,
That was a long
and
time
I
ago.
still remember that. Yep, there's a good one too, Rain. My name is Zhang Weili. I'm from China. Remember me?
Yep. There's another good one. So if you come with some heat, as they say in pro wrestling, you come with some heat, people will remember you. You don't necessarily have to do a call out of a fighter, a matchup that you want or whatever. Just say something memorable, like what Drake was saying. Say something memorable. Say something that will stick to our minds, and we'll remember you forever.
Yeah. Don't fear me, fear the consequences. Which was meant to be serious.
Dude, yeah, that was totally meant to be serious.
Oh man, that one is so funny. That one is hilarious. That's great. But okay. One more fight, you guys, on the lineup here. And the most important one of the weekend, I guess, in terms of, I mean, the Invicta tournament is pretty important. Definitely for see who comes out, maybe get the title shot against Zapatella. Definitely if Del Boni does. But I think we know that we'll get the next title challenger at flyweight here or with this one, Steve.
Yeah, Lauren Murphy versus Joanne Calderwood. This is a really good fight. I'm into it, man. We say Lauren Murphy should be fighting right already for the title, but Calderwood, she's legit. I really like this fight. I think it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I agree. And man, it's a bummer for JoJo in the sense that you look at her career and these are the fights she always loses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those when the high pressure situation, stakes on the line, she chokes it up, which is a bummer because I've always enjoyed JoJo. But man, this is another big opportunity, and I mean, it's got to be, you got to think it's last shot a bit. And geez, I didn't realize she's 35. That's crazy that she's 35 now,
and she's the favorite. Slight favorite.
That's pretty insane to me. It's very close, but Lauren Murphy, another fighter like Panny, who's putting it all together, looking better than they ever have right now.
Yeah.
Very tough, durable. I don't think Lauren's never been finished, right? No. Yeah, it's that surprised me to see that. JoJo is coming in off of that win against Jessica I, which again, it is what it was. So, yeah. Stylistically, though, that's the thing where you got to look at it that way for JoJo. But again, these moments, man, if she can just get over that hump, which has been these important fights, then she can finally, maybe get the title shot. And if you beat Lauren Murphy, who's, as we said, killing it right now for 4-5 win streak, yeah, why not? This is pretty title shot worthy, especially now that Araujo has been beaten by Chukagian. And I mean, we knew that if Lauren Murphy won this anyways, that's a wrap. She should arguably get in the title shot anyways. So in this matchup here, as cool as it would be to see JoJo get there, I don't know, man. Lauren Murphy's too good right now.
It's Passed her, brother.
Yeah.
She had her chance, and she blew it by taking that fight with
Maya. Yeah.
Jennifer Maya. She had it. It was there for her, and she blew it.
Yep. And then now you're taking on Murphy, who can really do it all. She's very well rounded, in your face, very tough. She's got like the perfect style to kind of, negate JoJo's, I think, which is why this is so interesting to see the odds makers disagree, especially after a Jessica I win, which was a good performance from JoJo. But again, if you're going to look at quality of competition type stuff, it is what it is. And Lauren Murphy, yeah, she fought Lilia Shakarova in her last fight, which was short notice, all that kind of thing. But she went out there and won how she was supposed to win. She did. Yeah. She performed how you should have in that situation.
She shouldn't have taken that fight either, but she did, and she ended up winning. Whereas Calderwood shouldn't have taken that Maya fight. She did, and she lost.
Yeah. That's been the story. That has been the story. You look back at the Moroz fight. You go all the way back to Strava. You remember when Marina Moroz made her debut in the UFC? JoJo was lined up to fight Joanna. Joanna was in attendance, front row. Remember they showed her out there, and Moroz gets the armbar in like a minute and 15 seconds. Just sad. And then we've seen it again.
What if Lauren Murphy wins this fight and then does a really great call out of Valentina Shevchenko? I
mean, I expect that. I expect that. I'm taking Lauren Murphy. In these kind of moments that we've been alluding to here with JoJo, she's typically been finished. Like you look at Jessica Andrade, Jennifer Maya, as we mentioned, not Chookagian, but I don't think that was the same kind of situation. But Chookagian is just Chookagian. Moroz, as I mentioned there. I don't remember who her other losses to. I think I mentioned all of them right there. Who was the other one? It's going to drive me crazy now. Either way, Lauren Murphy. Yeah, I guess I can do that.
If it's going to drive you crazy, might as well just click on her name and work.
See, Jennifer Maya, Chookagian. It was Calvillo. That's right. That was a close one.
And I don't think that Calderwood should have won that fight, right? Or Calderwood should have won that fight.
It was very close. I remember feeling like she maybe should have, but either way, I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, man, I just think now that I remember that fight, it's like you look back at the kind of fighters that JoJo has historically had trouble against. They either do something very well. I mean, I guess Jennifer Maya does multiple things very well, but, was able to catch her in a submission where we knew, all right, if she goes to the ground, that's going to be a problem. It was Jessica Andrade. That was kind of surprising, just to be a guillotine of all things. Then Moroz again, that was pretty somebody who specialized in, I think all of her wins were like arm bars at that point. Long way that she's come. But you look at Lauren Murphy, who can really do everything. And again, I just think that her pressure, and I think she'll try and make this a gritty fight where JoJo can't utilize the distance and the reach that she possesses, even though it's not by a lot. And as you see, the reach there is actually in favor of Murphy, but height, those kicks that JoJo likes to do, the teeps are always fantastic.
Yeah.
Front kicks, all that kind of thing. And then the clinch, of course, those vintage JoJo knees. If she can close the distance enough, not let her breathe to be able to get those off when she gets in close, I think she should be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure she can, though. Lauren's a tough, gritty girl, man.
Yeah.
She likes to get dirty, too, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that Murphy will be able to shut her game down for the most part, unless JoJo pulls off some kind of crazy submission where, we didn't expect her to see get against, Faria. And
Mhm.
you know, something like that. But I don't know. That's again levels. Lauren Murphy's at a different level than Faria was at that time and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So
true.
yeah, I think unanimous for Murphy. I think she'll get it done. And I wouldn't even be surprised if she did actually get a late, like a rear naked in the third, but I don't think JoJo will choke that bad at this stage, you know, like literally. Haha. But yeah, I think it should be fun though, but I just think Murphy will be pretty comfortably controlling. But I think it's her time, and it has been.
Yep.
So
I agree. I'm going Lauren Murphy, probably decision like you. Can she get a finish? Yeah. I just don't see Calderwood beating her. I think time has passed her by at this point. I think she had her chance, and it's gone now.
yeah, it's a bummer. Didn't pan out. Didn't pan
No,
out.
it didn't. Uh, Rain says, I don't know about you guys, but I like Dana not giving Lauren Murphy the title shot. Well, I mean, I think Drake and I both think that Lauren Murphy should be the next title shot already, even before this fight.
Yep.
So we don't agree with you.
Jimmy.
Jimmy says we all win when Murphy doesn't get a title shot. I mean, okay.
There it is. Basking in the
Yeah.
agony
Oh,
of Lauren Murphy.
dude. Yeah.
Terrible.
Poor Lauren Murphy.
Awful.
It would be hilarious if Murphy wins this fight in dominant fashion. Then Dana says we're going to do Nunes versus Shevchenko next. Could you imagine? Lauren Murphy would fucking hang herself.
I guess if that's what it takes to make that trilogy fight happen.
Or Lauren Murphy, the sacrificial goat.
Yeah. Jeez.
Give it to me. Please win. Please do the call out, Murphy, and please Dana White get Nunes and Shevchenko in there for a third time.
My goodness. My goodness.
So Alvin asked a question.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Calderwood, he's so like proper. Mrs. Calderwood used to be a strawweight. Why didn't she stay? She has the experience.
I think that was entirely the weight got too hard for her to manage.
Yeah, she was having bad weight cuts. Like she literally felt like shit in her weight cutting when she was at strawweight. And she honestly she looks fine at flyweight. It's just I mean, she was gonna fight for the title. She's doing fine at flyweight. She was gonna fight for the title. It just didn't. She took the fight against Jennifer Maia and she lost that fight. And Jennifer Maia swooped in and took the fight, took the title shot away from Calderwood. So honestly, it's a lot of weight cutting issue for Calderwood. Plus doing fine at flyweight. I think maybe if she didn't do well at flyweight to start off with, maybe she would think about maybe going down again. But I think that weight cut just ended up being way too tough on her body, mentally and physically. A lot of mental fuckery there, though.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she even missed weight for that Calvillo fight that we were just talking about.
Yeah, she definitely missed weight for one of those fights. I don't remember which one it was, but I do remember her having tough weight cuts, though. Very, very tough weight cuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where she was drained. She was drained going up on the scales.
Yeah, so that was the main reason, I think, for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, like she's looked fine at flyweight. She's really looked good. It's just tough breaks, man.
Yeah. And I mean, strawweight would not be any easier for her now, competition wise, Alvin.
Well, look at all the strikers that are up there. Could you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be fun, but yeah, it wouldn't be easy. Wouldn't be easy.
They would be fun matchups, but yeah, I don't see her beating any of them.
Right.
I mean, who in the top 5 or 6 do you see Calderwood beating at strawweight?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so. So, but see how it goes this weekend.
Rue says, "Ha ha ha! It's going to take Murphy winning to get Amanda Valentina 3. Now that's something to look forward to."
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm here for it. I've been calling for that Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko third fight for a very long time. I think they're both so dominant in their divisions. Why the fuck not at this point?
Yeah. Oh shit! Breaking news. Oh boy, here we go, everybody. Pull it up, Steve.
All right. Chuck, WMMA Scene Now says, just on Reddit, Liz Carmouche versus Kanaskar, co-main, Bellator 261, June 25. Wow.
Who's the source, though? Is this a reliable source, Chuck? I trust you, but I
trust
do.
you.
I do know that.
But do we trust Reddit?
I was aware. I can confirm though that I did know that Kana's next fight has a fight lined up. Let me see here.
Like this fight.
I just didn't know who it was. San Diego Union Tribune. That's Liz
Carmouche territory out there.
Yep.
She's in San Diego.
All right, this looks legit. So, didn't really need to question it too much, but all right. Kana time. Yeah, so I had a feeling. I knew it was going to be Ilima or Carmouche. A little bit surprised they went the Carmouche route because, man, Carmouche is having to work for that title shot. Holy shit. Holy shit, is she ever, man. You got to beat Kana now to get that thing. You could have had it already. Like, woo. And if Kana wins, this is the next title fight. Yeah, the next winner gets a title shot now for sure.
Yeah, I think so. That sucks for Porto.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But yeah, James, mark that on the calendars. Kana Watanabe is fighting. I like it though, because again, I thought it was either going to be Ilima or Carmouche, and since Keyholt's got the title shot instead, this is fine for Carmouche. I guess, if she's got to fight somebody above, if they're going to save that Ilima fight for something, I don't know how you do it now. Maybe just I don't know. I feel like you can't do that as a main event without the title, but yeah, we'll see, man. I like it though. Matchup wise, it's a very tough one for both of them in different ways, I think. But as we know, Liz Carmouche is just one of those fighters who she makes people fight their fight, which is scary, which sucks. You don't want to see that happen necessarily, because when that happens, it's not usually the most exciting thing, but it is what it is. I like it. What was the date here? Chuck said on the 25th. Oh boy, this month. So coming up here. All right, you guys, I was already planning on talking to Kana, as I told you. I'll have to line that up, try and get it next week. That'll be.
They must have known.
Yeah, for sure. Because I knew that there was something in the works, but didn't know what it was. So very cool. I'll take it. What are the odds of that? We get the news right at the end of the show. It's fate, you guys. It is fate. So big test for Kana indeed. Rue says it'll be tougher, but I believe she can pull it off. That judo versus wrestling is going to be interesting, man. That's
going to be fun. That'll be a lot of fun, honestly.
Be the key. And experience as well, as James points out. Yeah. Just Kana always wins. That's been the case.
Yeah, but Liz Carmouche is a tough cookie.
That she is. So, all right. Perfect way to wrap up, Steve. Still gotta pack my bags,
Pack
get
'em
ready
up.
for the heat, the 100-degree weather
Have you
in
looked at
Arizona.
Glendale, Arizona's
Weather.
weather
Oh yeah,
lately?
it's supposed to be like 104 range the whole week. It's supposed to
Plus,
be like 109 on Sunday.
plus it's dry heat.
I know. Yeah, like no humidity.
Yep.
See how that goes. But
Yeah, I
uh,
don't know. I don't know how people live in Arizona.
it's crazy to me. Crazy to
My
me.
my cousin went to school there for 4 years, and I fucking hated going to see her. I mean, I loved going to see her,
Yeah,
obviously, but I hated going to see her because it was in Arizona.
right.
I hated Arizona. Like I really, really hated Arizona.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm not excited for. But yeah, great comment there, Rue. Liz might be a tough cookie, but Kana eats cookies. There we go. All right, you guys.
He bends frying pans and eats
Ben's
cookies.
frying pans and eats cookies. Gotta love it. Don't forget, everybody. Follow us, like, share, and subscribe if you don't already at Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MA, at the Scrap News.
Mhm.
Here providing you your weekly women's updates and previews, recaps, all that stuff. You know how it goes. Man, oh man. Steve, I'm sure you're kind of taking it easy right now as you're still recovering from the sickness stuff and all that, but nothing new coming out right now.
I, dude, I'm barely.
Not even thinking.
Yeah, I'm barely like freaking alive.
Functioning.
Yeah,
But you
there's,
made it here.
yeah, barely did
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys. Well, obviously, I will be down in Arizona
Oof.
starting tomorrow for the fight week,
Oof.
covering for SCMP MMA. You can find all the coverage I'll be having there over on that YouTube channel and the website, scmp.com/MMA, SCMP MMA, it's YouTube channel, all that stuff. And then as for other things, I did speak to Misha Tate recently, just gave you a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a tease over on my channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. That was for the big history project I'm working on. And then I got coming out this week also for SCMP, caught up again with Marina Rodriguez. Awesome stuff with her. She is so fun to talk to, you guys. I think, as she gets more and more popular, personality really gets to come out, and that was a good fun one there. And shout out to Alexander, man. Like, I haven't told him yet, but I feel like he's getting better and better. He's always been a good translator, but awesome stuff from him. He's great. I appreciate his help so much. And then I also spoke to Ayaka Miura, a zombie, one championship strawweight contender, hoping to get that next title shot against whether Zhang Jingnan or Michelle Nicolini. Just got the Scarfold Queen, right? She just got another one. What was that, last week or 2 weeks ago at One Dangal? You remember that one, Steve? So yeah, Ayaka Miura, talked to her recently. And then Diana Avsaragova, the 3-0 Russian flyweight prospect in Bellator, who of course had that incredible 30-second debut win, knockout over Telegraph. Caught up with her finally. It would seem like the MMA gods did not want that to happen. There were multiple things that happened behind the scenes that maybe I'll tell you guys about some other time. But yes, made that happen. So that one's coming as well. And then, of course, Broad Horizon episode 8 is still out and readily available as we get ready for Ryzen this week, even though there's no women's fighters. Gonna be a great week of action, everybody. Oh boy. Gonna have to try and watch that as I'm leaving the arena. So that'll be fun. So gonna be a crazy week for many reasons. Check out all the stuff. Appreciate you all. And yeah, I think that's about it. Send it on home, Steve. Say goodbye to the good people, shall we?
Goodbye, good people.
Goodbye, people.
Until next week. No, without you guys, there is no Drake and I. The WMMA Today podcast has really turned into a show where Drake and I not only talk about women's fighting and stuff, but we also talk with multiple people now, and on a weekly basis. It's really getting to be the same people weekly. I don't know. We don't know who watches without commenting. commenting, but we thank you as well. But to all the people who come on a weekly basis, Ghost Phantom, James, Ro, Chuck at WMMAC Now, Makoto, Rain, Yusuf, Alvin. I guess you were here last week. I wasn't there. I wasn't here last week, but I'm a regular here. Whoever else watches, we thank you. Until next week, enjoy the fights. I'm gonna go sleep. Drake's gonna go pack. Have fun, Drake.
Peace.
Kick ass.